No, gusto lang namin sabihin at bilang pasasalamat sa inyong mga suporta, pakikipagkulitan, lahat-lahat na guys down below. Meron kayong chance na manalo ng 100 e-coins. At simple lang naman ang kailangan nilang gawin dyan. They just need to like and follow ang ating official CROSSFIRE Philippines Facebook page and as well as our YouTube pages. Andiyan na ang ating QR code, no? Check nyo na lang dyan, scan nyo na, tapat nyo na yung mga CP nyo dyan habang napakita pa. And also, like and share yung featured highlight post na meron tayo sa page na yon publicly. And you can check that out dito din, no? And in your caption, tell us bakit nga ba deserve nun maging top 1 play of the week. Kasi meron kayong say dyan. If you feature o ilalapag yun dito sa ating broadcast dahil sa inyo. Okay? So, merong involvement nyo kung bakit may ganun. And don't forget to use the official hashtags CFS Master Summer and hashtag CFS Play of the Week. At paalala na dapat public ang shared post kasi baka hindi makita ng ating mga moderators.
Yeah, tsaka para kitang-kita ng lahat yung mga support din natin. Plus everybody, hindi lang naman yan, no. Big thanks as well to CROSSFIRE and Smilegate. But if you also want more giveaways, well, you can go to our pages din. So big shout out din to Boss Mark. Check nyo na lang yan.
Yes, kaya naman let us check out na kung ano ang meron sa ating schedule, mga kaganapan at happenings for today. Ano kaya ang mangyayari sa TARINGBABI versus Acceptance? We also have Veteran versus Team Stallions, and we also have VP versus matches. And all I can say is that our teams here na Veteran and MJ, they're starting this off pretty crazy, no? Parang anlala agad, no? Parang sapakan at sapakan ka agad. But here for Acceptance and TARINGBABI, they're starting off pretty chill here, Bipolar.
Yeah, I mean, this is a matchup that I would say very, very fair. Almost like a 60-40 because Acceptance is still first runner pagdating dito sa ating Impact. Still holding it up since there is still issues with the team na hindi naman sobrang kalakihan pero patching up, kumbaga, yun lang kailangan nilang gawin. But for TARINGBABI, they're a team that has been very, very in our eyes simula ng qualifiers for Rosea. Because TARINGBABI is the new representative. If you remember quite clearly, ang kasama natin here on Masters in spring was Veteran and as well as Riders. Riders did not entirely compete here, and TARINGBABI now has a good form. One of the most impressive stints in the qualifiers. I believe it was a clean 2-0 for their entire bracket para dito sa mga matches ng TARINGBABI, but do correct me if I'm wrong there. But yeah, I feel like this is gonna be a very interesting and very fun match.
Actually, almost clean, no? I do think na natalo lang sila 0-2 against Veteran doon, no? Sa kanilang qualifiers here for TARINGBABI. But here for Team Acceptance, like, mamaya sabihin nila, why do you guys think na TARINGBABI and as well as Team Acceptance is quite close, no? Or maaaring maging malapit yung maging outcome natin dito? Well, guys, kasi here for TARINGBABI, I feel like being there as new faces here might also be an influence. At the same time, parang may chance nga din na magulat sila or ma-war shock sila, ma-culture shock sila sa kung paano gumagalaw yung ating mga Filipino teams as well. So, you know what? Let's see, no? Kung ano nga ang kakalabasan nito later on. Kasi for now, no, ito muna ang ating predictions right now. 2-0, all in favor for Team Acceptance. Sa kung gaano kalapit ang ating mga magiging rounds, yan ay ang question maya-maya.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the prediction now, I feel like it's the same sentiments as the recent Spring Masters. But everybody, gone are the days that we want to always just glaze the players here coming in from Rossi. We do still want them to win at least because still that's a great point in time just because if you think about it, the Philippines is not just improving but the rest of Southeast Asia as well. So it all ends up for TARINGBABI on how they will debut in Masters Summer. They have a pretty good team. We were very surprised that they have setups that they can possibly be at the limelight of what the Filipino CROSSFIRE teams are capable of. And with them using, a very, very interesting setup, well, it might just be perfect up against Acceptance that is very much still fixing something. So they might still win here. So we're always glad to be proven wrong by the Rossi teams.
Of course, no? And I do think na ang kinakaabangan-abangan natin dito is ano kaya yung ating skill difference sa mapa ng Subways. Kasi if you guys watch the Rosie qualifiers, which we highly encourage that you give our Rosie brothers some support as well, no? Here for TARINGBABI, their performance in Subways is actually pretty good. no? Parang
Amazing,
they
almost,
have the
yeah.
similar vibes for veteran, but again, iba talaga pag PH team yung kanilang katapat. And right now, you know what? This is actually not that bad, no? We have 28%. Am I
29.
blind? 29%. Yeah, 29%.
You're blind.
So, yeah, I'm blind. I'm colorblind. And 29% dito kay TARINGBABI. Hindi ko mahalos makita yung white and blue. And as well as 71% here for team acceptance. So, you know what? Not bad. I actually expected this gonna be like skewed all the way more baliktad dito, no? Pero sabi ng community, you know what? We give some support dito sa ating mga brothers here. Pretty
I
nice.
feel like marami rin nanonood talaga ng ating Rossi and ng mga qualifiers. No? So yeah, maybe that's why 29% dito yung ating TARINGBABI. I'm just, hopefully, ma-encourage lang din lalo dito yung TARINGBABI to actually come into full form. Kasi yes looking at Riders and as well as veteran, we had full hopes, Mochi. And now that we saw the recent stints of the Rossi teams, parang naglaylo yun and nasasama dun tuloy yung TARINGBABI. I hope they find in their game style na parang mapabring up ulit and to give us a lot of hope. But yeah, we're open to seeing these two teams frag out sa ating mama.
Yep. And now, papakilala na natin dito kung ano at sino-sino ba ang meron dito for TARINGBABI. Kasi balita ko, bipolar, that they pride themselves sa kanilang quadri-attack. No, there is more on all brute force. I guess is the safest term to use here dito for TARINGBABI. But at the same time, I feel like the challenge here is how do we move away from that branding and from that practice? Kasi hindi na yun uubra dito ngayon.
Yeah, I mean, looking at TARINGBABI, it's a squad wherein they really do prioritize that 4-man attack with these HKs or M14s. We have McRae, we have Elcom PE, we have Penjaat, Jambi, we have Protons, and as well as Jangar as their sub. We saw last time, Mochi, that these teams actually, or at least TARINGBABI, I believe Jangar was playing for the team last time. Not really Protons. So it's gonna be interesting who will be playing for TARINGBABI today.
Yeah, let's see, no? Kung sino nga ba yung mga lalaban dito right now. Kasi even here sa ating PubMat, si Protons pa rin nga ang nandito, no? Sa kanilang line-up. But again, no, I am anticipating that there is also a lot of prowess na magagaling dito kay Penjaat, no? Considering na siya ang kanilang primary anchor here while the rest of the team do their own thing. But at the same time, again, team acceptance, parang ang magiging katapat ni Penjaat dito is si Hek talaga. Parang wala siyang choice kung dito patad talaga si Hek. And later I will be able to talk about them more. Pero dito, no, for TARINGBABI, mukhang si Protons nga ang lalaro dito, no, bipolar, which is great, no? It's nice that we're seeing him here in the lineup of TARINGBABI right now. And it seems like they're just auto-farming their way dito sa ating mga POV camps for the time being. And I love the overall vibes that we have from them so far, specifically from Penjaat and as well as Elcom, because look at that.
Hopefully, Mochi, the smiles will be for the entirety of the group stage. No? Hopefully that happens.
I hope.
But yeah, but TARINGBABI now looking at their very, very long journey here. I would like to say TARINGBABI has a similar playstyle or at least similar vibe like Comeback Friends. So they'll be looking at that in their third matchup. So magandang abangan yan on the Saturday of 6 and 20. But for VET is their next one, Comeback Friends VP match Stallion. So a lot of the higher teams will be congested here in the middle. Tapos pinakadulo pa Execration. Very, very good journey para sa TARINGBABI.
Yes, and I feel like their schedule also states that this is gonna be pretty decent start for them, no? Because it's not that quite of a very, very challenging trials of fire type of thing na talagang si STS agad din tatapatan nila or si VP whatsoever. They're starting off pretty decent. Okay, so I really do hope that here for TARINGBABI they were able to establish their presence dito, no, in the scene right now. Pero ipapakilala natin dito, of course, ang team acceptance na parang kahapon parang hindi naman inalinta na ilaban nila dito for CBF pulling off that decider map na in a really close fashion. No, di natin ina-expect na unang araw pala bino mo puro OT na agad ang i-spam at i-welcome para sa atin, but at the same time we're definitely here for it because that just means na ganun nagiging kalapit yung ating nagiging overall tiers in terms of playstyle para sa ating mga team so far.
Yeah, that just means na talagang itong puyat, pati yung puyat na sa gabi, pati practice dito na acceptance has really come into full form, no, na parang, uy,
Mm.
we're forcing overtimes now, we're forcing mat threes, we're not just going for set plays. May sakit pa rin naman acceptance game na parang, uy, yes, palagi mahuli si Egg, so he's gonna be in a situation na
Mm.
parang dehado. Pero that situation came a lot kasi last time na parang 1v3 almost. Pero anong gagawin ng 1v3 mo kung malaki yung biceps ni Heck, di ba?
Gusto ko yung pagka nakikita ko din yung mga POV cams ng mga casters, natatawa din sila pagka si acceptance yung nandito. Kasi talagang flex lang sila ng flex. Pero at the same time, I feel like, yesterday binanggit naman natin how 3 of these members is gonna be quite of a reunion na talagang umpisa pala pinakita rin na nila that regardless of how long they were apart from each other, it still remains. It still
Yes.
retains, it's still present, and they're looking good more than ever. And despite that it is a loss here dito against CBF, hindi talaga madaling laban yan. I think
Yeah.
is the safe term to say.
Yeah, this 1-2 scoreline, pwede mong sabihin 50-50 pa sana to sa pinakadulo, Mochi. And just because
Exactly.
acceptance is that kind of team na kaya na talaga ngayong lumaban. Kahit na we're saying this team is very much still underrated, kaya na kaya dito ng acceptance to break the barrier na pinerform nila sa last Masters lineup nila. But yeah, acceptance, I feel like ang point in time ngayon, no, for their first 4 matches is that age doesn't matter anymore para sa buong Crossfire. And acceptance is the pinnacle of that as well. Kasi tignan mo si tignan mo si Silent, tignan mo si Ajax. They are out-fragging most of the teams or most of the players right now. So it's just pretty nice to see.
And not to mention that if earlier nare-recall nyo yung ating top 5 highlights from yesterday, 2 of their members were there. Nandun yung kay Dre,
Yeah.
nandun din yung kay Ajax. So again, hindi talaga biro yung individual prowess na meron dito ang acceptance. And I do think that we already had a bit of insider info from them na it's more on the comms issue. Pero
Yes.
I feel like hindi siya malaking problema at all. They just need a bit
No.
more polishing, basically.
Yeah, looking at this head-to-head the Mochi, parang going back to your thought lang na onte, hindi siya, hindi talaga com issue, parang chemistry issue lang. Kasi yun nga, you have 3 veterans and 2 young ones. But looking at it, meron naman tayong dalawa dito sa harap natin. It's our head-to-head. It's Macaray and as well as Ajax. And I feel like this is the most fair matchup, no, Mochi? Kasi most of the players natin dito for acceptance has above a 1.0 KD. Meanwhile, isa lang ang 1.0 KD dito na above para sa side ng TARINGBABI. Macaray actually is one of our attackers, one of our riflers, with the HK, I believe, that is able to spot out. If he spots out Ajax in this matchup, well, that's one of the full force dito na acceptance down, and I feel like it will be pretty easy for him for the rest. But let's see, acceptance pa din to. Acceptance sa pinag-usapan natin.
Yes, and I also like to point out din siguro yung disparity with the kills per round and as well as the smokes per round just shows how they actually play within the team and their role overall. For Ajax, is more of the firepower asset dito, no, for team acceptance. In contrast for Macaray na talagang more on the supporting role ang kanya nang nasusupply dito, no, for TARINGBABI. And I'm pretty curious if they will be retaining that type of gesture and as well as a role para dito kay TARINGBABI later on, kasi there might be a point in time later on na kailangan nilang i-tweak yung kanilang mga galawan dito. Again, first appearance of TARINGBABI against the PH teams. I hope that they can withstand the heat, basically.
Yeah. Tsaka debut game of Rossi team once again
Yes,
pagdating
diba?
dito sa ating Masters. So that's gonna be very interesting. I'm so excited,
True.
Mochi. Meron na tayong papakita dyan.
Yes, meron tayong papakita. Alamin na natin kung saan nga ba maglalaro ang ating mga teams at kung ano nga ba ang kanilang mga prio bans, prio picks. So, most importantly, sub-base might be played here. It will be our decider. Kung tayo ay aabot sa ating decider. But for now, we'll be starting off with Ankara and as well as Sport.
Okay. Once we saw last na parang itong acceptance was up against Comeback Friends, they didn't play Ankara just because the respect band dito ng Comeback Friends yung Ankara ng acceptance, which we do like, just because Ankara is still one of the better maps here for acceptance, and with them picking this up immediately, even though GR side yung sisimulan nila, Mochi, I feel like they'll be comfortable here. But coming into port, Taringbabi, they know how to push into house B. And guess what? Anong ginagawa ng acceptance kapag nasa GR side na sila? One on Z and Heck on house speed. There's only two types of Heck doing this, pushing in towards outer or sa may port or either holding mismo entrance dito ng house speed. If they get Heck in this each encounter sa BL side nila on port, they might have a chance to at least put up 6 or 7 rounds, no? But sa base, well, parang gusto ko makita yan, Mochi, as our decider. Kasi both of these teams play a pretty good na sub base.
Yes, and I feel like the biggest challenge here for Taringbabi as well is paano nila i-handle in case lang naman, hindi naman sa kayo claim ko, no, if there will be like a dual sniper setup din na mangyayari dito possibly for acceptance kasi they just have only one, no? At si Penjahat pa yun, no? The only person that is more versed sa sniper role niya dito, no? And knowing that we are gonna be starting in Ankara and Port, dude, this might be the first hurdle na kailangan nila to pass through, no? Especially when it comes to the middle part of the laban na meron dito, no? For both of our teams. But again, really nice map dito so far. Can't wait kung ano nga ang kakalabasan nito, Bipolar.
Yeah, looking at it again, map veto is Ankara, then port, and then sub-base. Whoa, my memory is very slow. Pero, Taringbabi, it's gonna be interesting. Give us a show, that is one thing. And acceptance, give us a show as well. Because right now, you are 1-0 and 1. So, hopefully, lumakas dito lalo ang acceptance and as well as Taringbabi.
Of course, kaya naman kilalanin na rin natin ang ating backup, no? Kasi marami na tayong pinagdadaldal dito. Sila naman ang ating welcome dito. Let us welcome ang ating mga casters para sa ating unang series, Dicky Frog and as well as Ellen. Hello, Dicky Frog? Parang tatlo na kayo naka-glasses kayo. Parang gusto ko rin sumali. Hanapin ko yung akin mamaya. Pero for now, no? Hi, Dicky Frog. Kamusta naman ang ating day so far? And any expectations for this particular matchup?
Ayun nga, I am expecting na hopefully may onting laban naman dito ang ating Taringbabi team kasi yun nga, no, we're kind of tired of seeing Rosea getting beaten time and time again dito. Yeah. So, malay mo, diba, Mochi? New faces, maybe it's a new power para sa kanila.
Couldn't agree more. How about you, El?
I feel like this is a fresh look para sa Rosie teams na. Sana naman na katulad ng pangalan ng region nila, pabanguhin nila at pabulaklakin nila yung kanilang mga standings dito because we want the veterans to succeed. They're the closest firepower that we have. And Taringbabi being the new faces, well, surprises na lang siguro mabibigay nila sa atin.
True. And kaya naman, no, discuss na rin natin ang mga watch points natin dito for Taringbabi at sisimulan natin yan with their beginner's luck. Do you think na ito ay magiging evident dito, Bipolar?
I mean, hopefully there is beginner's luck, man, coming in for Taringbabi because if little bit of known fact lang, or at least from our dive deep, no, Taringbabi means a swine's tusk. So if that swine's tusk really is a penetrating power towards acceptance, well, that is a very, not really a luck base, but just the sheer powers of the Rosea teams becoming a force now up against the Filipino teams, or at least the rest of Southeast Asia. But yeah, last time, Riders and Veteran are 0-34 total sets versus PH teams. But hopefully that scoreline at least becomes 1-32 or like 2-32, something like that. Sana hindi lang beginner's luck dito ang kailanganin ng ating Rosea teams like Taringbabi, but I hope it's also practice and as well as sheer domination.
Yes, hopefully, no. And I feel like their first match will be setting up the tone and with how they will be pursuing itong journey throughout summer. Pero for now, no, Sneaky Frog, how about this one? Maintain Heck and Ajax performance. Do you think that they will be able to carry that over?
Oh, I think so, for sure. I think Heck especially, no? I think ito yung isa sa mga pinakamalaking nagulat or one of the bigger surprises for me going into the acceptance Swiss stage, right? I was expecting them to just kind of bomb out, especially there, some better teams in the Swiss stage itself. But I feel like one of the main reasons why they did actually qualify in this one is because of Heck and Ajax's increase of performance in the Swiss stage. And it just goes to show that, experience can also go in the way of firepower for the both of them. So, usually we love to talk about the, Silent, Dre, and Ting, but without Heck and Ajax. Ajax, especially in that Eagle Eye game, they would have not they would have not been as close as yesterday, let's just say.
I see. And I feel like that is also something that they should be working on, right? Like their consistency as a team as a whole, not just as individual players. But let's check our last point for this one. I do think that this is lines of acceptance again. Yes, it is. Is fatigue a factor for acceptance here? What do you think, El?
I mean, fatigue has always been a factor. Remember their season, right? They played Impact, they played playoffs, they played Swiss stage. Of course, there are going to be scrims here and there, and then they are going to have their first match yesterday, right? So immediately after the Swiss stage, we go straight back into action. Yes, we have our rest days, but do you think the teams have rest days? No, they don't. They always scrim. So if this is going to be something that's going to hinder them in their match versus TARINGBABI, I don't want it to be a main factor. Let it be known as just a small circumstance, because if we want Rosie to win, we want them to win convincingly, not because of these circumstances.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like what's also good here for Team Acceptance carrying over yung kanilang match from yesterday is that they are always certain to give it their all, which is obvious at nakita naman din natin from yesterday.
For sure.
And again, both challenges for both teams. TARINGBABI, paano mo i-introduce at iset yung standard para sa sarili, and for Team Acceptance, the holes that we need to patch up, they better get it patched up. And I think it is about time for us to hand it over to our casters for the main action. Sneaky Frog and El, rakrakan na.
I feel like this situation is quite familiar for us, Sneaky Frog, because it's going to be Rosie versus Impact, and no better team, right, for Impact players or for Rosie teams to face off against the beginners of our master stage.
Yeah, and this has been kind of the prevalent storyline for the past few. I think we kind of mentioned this on the one podcast that we did with me and Salvatore, that we did say that I feel like Rosea would definitely have a better time if they went through the Impact route first and then they actually went into Masters. But I feel like this is kind of the hypothesis, right? Maybe the theory that we can say in this one, that how is a TARINGBABI team gonna do up against Acceptance? However, I wouldn't really classify Acceptance as a truly Impact level team, because they are very capable of beating the best, really just depending on the day. And Acceptance obviously capable of going top 5, but they also have some really bad days as well, and they're gonna try to avoid that up against this TARINGBABI team.
Yeah, I feel like especially the fact that when I watch the VODs of TARINGBABI, they played the HKs, they played the EVRs, they played the TRGs. We do not see the Scarlights, we do not see the funny guns coming out from this team. So if that is going to be like the litmus test or like the eye test here for TARINGBABI, that means they've been watching the Filipino VODs. So if they have been watching the Filipino VODs and they have a pretty good sub base, man, I want to see that happen here. We are going to see the maps, right? It's going to be standard. I feel like this is a good test for TARINGBABI, not just for Acceptance, but for TARINGBABI more so, because it's going to be the standard maps where you can just out-aim, but if you can do more than that, it's going to be surprising. And I feel like surprise is like the word I'm going to be using the most here, Sneaky, because it's going to be a different look for the Rosie teams. We do not want to see them just 5-man rushing, doing a split, but timings are off. I want to see them do something complex and back that up with the firepower that we assume that they are gonna have. Acceptance, well, they need to hold the line, right? Because if not, then the Impact branding on this team won't really go away.
And that really is the challenge, right, for Acceptance, that I wouldn't say their biggest opponent is within the server, right? I feel like Acceptance's biggest opponent is actually themselves in this kind of situation. There is some times where, an overextension might happen, or maybe a hero play doesn't work out, and they kind of crumble very quickly, right? And I feel like Acceptance, you really do not want to crumble, maybe up against a team like TARINGBABI, because, it is going to feel very bad where you're getting rushed into maybe on the A side, maybe into the B side, and nothing feel like it's working. So I feel like composure is also a thing that you have to point at, that you have to really think about if you're on the side of Acceptance. But I mean, overall, Acceptance, judging from how they played in the group stage and how Heck played in yesterday's games, I feel like they are approaching rapidly a level of a level that they're desired, which is Masters. But is it gonna be enough for the conversation of playoffs? Because acceptance is also within that range where Team Alliance Gaming was kind of sitting at not too long ago, right? Where maybe you're gonna be 6th, maybe you're gonna be 7th, maybe you're gonna be 8, and I feel like the goal here for the side of acceptance is to kind of trying to break that ceiling. But I don't know what the ceiling's made of. It could be glass, it could be full metal, but acceptance is gonna try either way.
They have to try, right? So will this TARINGBABI team. It's really just this matchup on the second day, right? It's the very first one is, I think, something that can go both ways, right? We do not know what acceptance ceiling is. We do not know how high they can go here in the table. For TARINGBABI, we already ranked them at the very, very bottom. So them going up is the only way they can do. But here we go into Ankara with the comps in.
Back siguro. Forward yung kamay. May ilo. Na.
Okay, some callouts here and there. But so far, no quick action. Unlike the previous row C teams that we have, but acceptance, right? We all know this play. They want to take control of floor A because that is where they think the action will happen. Just expecting from recency bias that this is going to be their very favorite spot on the map at the start, and they will find the first kill.
No,
I don't
Jimmy,
like it
don't
as well.
hold that from there, man. Don't hold it from there. As someone who's held that angle for the past few times and died as well, it is not ideal. But speaking of, acceptance already putting the pressure early on the side of TARINGBABI, but Elcom will get one in return on Heck, but it is, 4 against 2. You got long control if you're on the side of acceptance, and they're just rolling on forward. Silent not respecting the sniper of Penjahat, who's going to back off all the way into Arches, but the problem is for the side of TARINGBABI. There's already players approaching this hotel side, already players approaching the other side of the map, but hold on.
Wait.
Elcom has gotten the second kill, and this might be a take if they can regain the C4, but it's a hard task. Dre already looking for the mid peak. I think they're very well aware
CROSSFIRE.
that the C4 is dropped in the middle part, and Ajax the only one left alive, and I feel like Elcom has a rough idea of where Ajax is, but do they spot him in the right place at the right time? Ajax, who has been clutching for the past few days for his team, and is gonna just melt Penjahat, but does he know that Elcom is here, jumping in to the action, and Ajax giving acceptance the first round.
Okay, that was a close one for TARINGBABI. However, I feel like they do not know, or like they did not receive the fact that Ajax was just right there waiting on the box. He had the first strike, right? And he did not, or rather, TB did not even consider that he might still be there, and Ajax still going on ham. Will get shut down.
There you go. Ajax has gotten Elcom. Jinbi has gotten Ajax in return. But Ting still present on the long side. AK-47 is gotten to Mekrai, and Jinbi already down. Protons finally a trade in return, and he gets 2 as well. Silent and Ting already out. However, Heck is still present on the catwalk A side. Gets the nade kill on Protons. Pulls out the AWM and even gets him down. Shoots him with both guns because left bicep, sniper, right bicep, pistol. Is that the vibe, El?
I feel like it's a bit too imbalanced. Have the left bicep be the OM, the right bicep be the TRG. Now that's the balance. That's how you get the reps in. I feel like Heck, even though he's using the OM, right, signature weapon, yada yada yada, it's not a nerf. It's more like a buff for him. He means this is serious business, even if it's just TARINGBABI. They're not just TARINGBABI though. We've seen the shots that they're hitting. They can fight back, but it's the closer. Not even the mid-round, the closer for these members on TARINGBABI that gets them, not the rounds, but Penjahat again will try and take one. And Ray stuck in the middle, will still be alive, continuing the fight here on mid.
Ooh, Heck has gotten his second one. AWM highlights finally on our screen, but he is only able to take out the middle players temporarily. But here comes Silent. Will be dying for the trade. El Compe. We'll try to see if he can slip on by to the B side. Problem is, the C4 has been dropped. near the arch stairs, and it will be a bit of a chase here. Ting is going to try to look for El Compe instead of trying to put his vision on the C4, maybe just cut off whoever is playing on that mid side. Tunnel B is not too bad of a spot, especially considering where the C4 is, but not a bad spot as well if he actually makes it to high mid before El Compe can do something. But El Compe deciding, hey, I'm going to clear A side just in case, maybe go on the long route, and we are going to see a lot of tap walking here.
We're not seeing the classic maneuver of, let me just go straight to the C4, and I'm just going to try to fight anyone that goes in my way. El Compe is, well, he's playing this one smart, right? Knowing that there's a lot of time, 30 seconds remaining, he still can go to A or B after picking up the C4. So I like this. Ting, though, is not going to risk it for the biscuit. He's just going to stay here on hotel exit and make sure that if the opponent comes his way, it's just an easy sure shot, even if it's from hotel or bypass. But disregards the fact that there's going to be any members there. 5 seconds left. The plant will come through. And it's going to be a 1v1 at the end. Positioning here is required for El Compe.
It's honestly not a bad spot to be in. On the metal box of top A, Ting is coming in from exit A, though. Full swing could be meaning of death, but El Compe has a crosshair aimed where the head is supposed to be, and El Com will be giving his first round to TARINGBABI. What a recovery.
I like that. Time smart, play the 1v1 smart, finding all the information, checking if the opponent is just going to be waiting or is also trying to wander. But we cannot forget about Penjahat's initial kill. Dre might have gotten more here, and the ensuing fight was great for the side of acceptance, but yeah, at the end of the day, if they can match your firepower, they can also match how your mind works. And El Compe showing to us that TARINGBABI's bringing a fresh new spicy flavor here at Masters. But heck, saying, nah, I got this one. We'll take down El Compe.
Yeah, it's third position he's taken, right? He has taken mid, he has taken A, and he has taken this hotel side. So Heck is making sure that his presence is known across Ankara. But Acceptance still steady on the A site, and I like this though from the side of TARINGBABI, right? They do recognize that the Heck is a bit too aggressive on the B side of the map, so there might be a bit of a stack maybe on HM to try and cover whoever is pushing mid, and this is going to be a good choice for them. However, util game is going to be questioned. Jimby, I'm trying to see if they can get some lineups going. Maybe get 3 HEs to the face of Ajax here.
You're asking a stallion setup from TARINGBABI?
Oh, they got lineups.
Wait, they actually do.
They got lineups, man. Don't doubt.
Let's see it. Let's see it. Bring out the nade. Come on, do it.
I'm waiting for someone to climb up on $5.
It's only one.
Oh, they don't. They don't.
Oh,
CA.
they don't.
Gonna be the way to go, Dre. Position could provide a highlight or a headache for the B site. Jimby will be the first one in. Spacing is way off for the side of TV. Where is the secondary player? Oh, the flash. It actually flashes Macarai as well. And that actually came from Acceptance. Good throw there from Heck. And they are forced to go in the TB side instead, going into the B side. But they're running into the sniper. Heck,
CROSSFIRE.
ready and waiting to receive whoever is going to go through this tunnels B. And that's going to be Macarai already down. Protons, one in return. Protons jumping spray down. Will be getting Dre, but will not be getting Silent. And Acceptance, a quick reply after a loss.
Okay, we tried to set them up there for the A execute, but the lineups were not there clearly. No one's going up $5. I think the mid-rounding here is a bit raw, especially with the util being thrown. Macrae is usually the guy that throws the util for TARINGBABI. I was surprised he was the one to go in. Maybe it's because they lacked the members. They were down 2. But still, the attempt was worth it. The execution, though, could have been better for TARINGBABI. And as well as Silent getting Elcom for the second time. Elcom has been down in the first few seconds, but there's a trade and another one from Acceptance.
Ooh, Silent once again, a victim. Penjahat of that yellow box, and Ting will just be pushing forward.
He wants it.
Oh my goodness, Ting with the USP. Both of them on low
there
HP,
we go.
and they line up for young backup, and then 1-4 for Team Acceptance. And as soon as they got the first kill on the yellow player, they just push forward.
I feel like they're already getting accustomed to how TARINGBABI wants to play. And I feel like also, TARINGBABI, you need to switch up the positions. Heck, missing. Instant nade to deny. Still gonna try, and he's gonna be good for it. But here comes a split from TB coming in from TARINGBABI.
Damn, I think repeaking Heck is definitely a mistake. But Jimby will try to see if he can take his head off via this Tunnels B push. Problem is, there is no other pathway for TARINGBABI to go for anything else. Benjahat is on the backside of Tunnels B, and they're kind of stuck in a bit of a situation here. So they're going to try to see if they can use their numbers to just run over Dre, and that they do. Jimby will be getting the first B player, but there is still one on the backside. Silent with a quick flank, gets a bit of tag. McRae, good kill here on Ajax. Benjahat gets Silent. Hold on, wait a minute. Acceptance in a very bad spot in this round. Heck with an AWM, not the best weapon to retake with. It's a good holding,
AK?
but an AK can get a retake going as well. Ting with the first kill, gets the second one as well. Heck getting Protons, and Benjahat, the only one left alive with a sniper. USP has to produce some miracles, but Heck has one as well. And it's a 5-1 acceptance. Seems like it's their kind of Ankara.
They're kind of Ankara and not the kind of mistake I want to see from TARINGBABI. You had the space. You can push out one side. Staying static there was, I think, a mistake. Even if you wanted to stay static, Sneak, fair. But you have to mark every single angle. No one was watching the hotel exit, and that's how Ting went boom, man. And I feel Dre wants to go boom as well with this initial fight he's gonna take. Good for one more. Denied. Are they gonna follow, though?
Yeah, I like that acceptance is kind of using the confidence gain from the prior rounds, right? I mean, you're kind of up 4. So
Just get more.
we kind of have a kind of a greenish yellow light, but it's more green more than anything. But TARINGBABI now stuck on the spawn side. Silent with massive damage with the EBR, and he can rip right through that box if he wants to. And that he does, but I wasn't expecting that box to be taken down, but Jimby will be down as well. Here comes the drop shot from Heck, and it's a 6-1 acceptance. Seems like they want to accept this win early. With this kind of lead, TARINGBABI, it's going to be hard to come back into this game.
It's really, really hard, Sneaky. You say they only see the green light, greenish yellow light. No, I feel like they only see red. Once you get that initial kill, everyone goes boom. Everyone just follows through, especially on that floor A angle. Another attempt here for the side of acceptance. Silent pushing all the way. And Protons, well, he will take down one. Benjahat, another man advantage for TB. This is good.
And in all honesty, right, from what we're observing in this game, L, the mechanics aren't too bad for the side of TARINGBABI. They got some shooters on this team. It really is just the patchy back row that we are seeing from their side. It kind of reminds me more Vietnam-ish, more than what we see here in the PH region. So I do like that. It seems like TARINGBABI is taking inspiration not just from us, but from the other leagues as well. But speaking of leagues, Dre, is he leagues behind in this push? And it seems like he's not. He's gonna get 2. Protons picking up the sniper.
Heck.
In this one has gotten Silent. Heck. A 2K is needed. A flash to the face, getting Benjahat. Protons getting the better timing. And TARINGBABI off of the back of Protons, getting the second point.
That was Benjahat sniping, man. I feel like the Protons here switching over to the sniper is a good adjustment. Every time I see their default, it's number 3 on the middle, but number 4 goes down. Jimby down. Heck with an initial trade. Rocking the AWM as well still. A bit more passive now, but now that you know they have the first kill, Sneaky, who is going to be sneaking up on A-Long? It's going to be Silent and friends, but they converge towards middle. They expect TB to be fighting, but they go the opposite route towards doors B.
Ooh, but the Silent though, very cheeky with the flank already, has made it to Archer, so even if they look behind on bypass, this is not gonna work. Proton's turning around just in time, but doesn't kill Silent. Silent getting his 3rd, but not his 4th. Elcom finally with a trade, but he is on his own. What can you do? This is looking less likely like a C Masters game, more like an epical Titan game, my friend. A 7-2 for the side of acceptance. If you want to know what it's like to go up against Heck in a ranked match, well, this is a prime example.
Are you sure you don't want to take it down a notch? Like maybe put my master...
No. Keep it up.
Okay. Keep it up.
Keep it up there, man. I do see Elcom on rank sometimes, so, you know, he is around there. Oh, Protons, careful, brother. Ooh, no! Protons, that is not the best peak to open A side with, and he is too much on the right side here, El. You need to fall in the smack dab in the middle of floor A if you do want a chance to even strike up against this sniper. But JMBY on the A side, room A will be the way to go. Ting looking in an entirely different direction. Timby doing a nice job tapping away, but Ajax needs to kill the second top A player. Penzahat has made his presence known. Dre's down. The cry flying on the side, and it's only Heck left alive. Heck from the backside will not even get a shot in on Elcom. TARINGBABI. You know, it was a pretty bad last round, but they reply on their defense. This could be the start.
Maybe GR side is their side after all, right? I did not see anything erratic from the side of TARINGBABI in the way that they moved, in the way that they fight. I feel like the rotations are proper as well. They do not overcompensate for feeling that this might be everyone towards this execute. But, oh, Protons have to get out there, buddy.
Yep. Proton's only getting one, and it is going to be Ting, in all honesty. I wouldn't mind losing him in this early of a situation. If you have a player like Ajax, no problem, just melting Penzahat. And it's going to force Elcom to try and look for Ajax at around the spawn side, and Ajax is just poking away. He doesn't really care, and he even sees where Elcom is. Elcom does get him, but the amount of information that Ajax has gotten in this round, Acceptance can maybe go for this B side with Protons. It is all on you whether or not that this is defendable. Sniper in hand, Silent and Dre waiting for the swing. Heck on the hotel side, Protons will be getting Dre. And it's a 2 versus 4, but Silent from the bottom side will be getting the full spray and a double kill as well. What a shot on Timby. Elcom might be the next up as well, and Silent, an absolute beastly 3K from him. McRae, the only one left alive, and I feel like Heck probably has gotten this last kill, even getting shot. The AWM still hits, and Acceptance 8 and 3.
Oh, I don't know what to say about TARINGBABI. They have the advantages at the start. They have the man advantages as well. They have the space, but it's these small lapses that Ajax and Silent are going to try and take, right? So it's very, very different how they get their kills, but they cannot convert their rounds. So Sneaky, they will get that initial on Ajax. A problem on the side of PB, but there comes more.
Ooh, Ting with the one tap on Protons, not even giving him a chance to even shoot a single bullet. In Acceptance, looking like they're giving TARINGBABI the 5th stage of grief already, man. Acceptance is already there. McRae will get absolutely sprayed down by the USP. It feels like formalities at this point with Penzahat and Elcom approaching their death, but Dre
does he know?
Will be getting taken down, but doesn't know. He doesn't know the vision. He doesn't see it. Heck sees it right through the smoke. And 9 to 3, Acceptance. Yeah, it seems like this is going to be a comfortable day for them on Ankara.
Very, very comfortable. Even with the initial man disadvantages, they know that PB cannot do anything about it. Sure, they convert the first round, but the rest, not quite. I want to see these initial advantages get converted because Acceptance, they have been put in these positions before. Quite recently, yesterday, right? And yesterday, well, their initial response when they get a man down, they just push. And that is what Penzahat should be expecting here.
No, Penzahat almost getting the second one. Will only be taken down Dre temporarily. However, Acceptance not going to be hesitating at all and trying to take some B control in this one. McRae going to get spotted on the TB side, and that's not going to be good for the B defense whatsoever. Proton taken down from the behind. From Silent going through Hotel, and the likeliness of a clutch situation just goes lower and lower for this one. Ting spotting Jimby all the way still on the mid side, goes for the repeat, gets the one tap that he wants finally, and Elcom, the only one left alive, stuck in his own base. That's where he begins, and that's where he ends. Acceptance taking Ankara.
In a clean fashion, and honestly, subverting expectations here. I feel like I had got the idea here that Acceptance might have a bit of trouble versus TARINGBABI, but yeah, I think we were wrong. There's impact level, not quite anymore. Masters level, yeah, sure, but it's against TARINGBABI, who we do not know. They are a question mark on our sides, and they will still remain a question mark here, Sneaky. So I feel that even when TARINGBABI got these initial ideas, these initial picks, that's all it is, like a question mark, right? They don't know what to do next. On that GR side, we've seen round and round after that they get one, they get two, but acceptance, learning from the mistakes of yesterday, let's just push.
Yeah, and it seems like acceptance with that kind of confidence, right, and that kind of control in a map like Ankara, it really didn't feel like they lost control at all, right? In these rounds that they even lost. I mean, granted, there was that one good round where TARINGBABI just held on really well to the site and just absolutely cleared everybody from acceptance, right? But there really isn't a round that you could say that TARINGBABI, this is the setup that won you this situation, definitely. But yeah, it feels like once again, Rosea teams still, the gap is still very evident in this one, and it seems like TARINGBABI still has a lot of practice to do. But I would give them this: their mechanics, they're approaching the players here in the Philippines, and I feel like with a bit more study on the macro here, they can definitely hang with the best here, man.
Yeah, they have the base. They just need to add more to the base, add some flavors, add some extra recipes here and there. Cook themselves a little nice mee goreng, man. I feel like we need to see. They have a coach. His name here on our database is David. Only David. No surname, no. It's a typical, Indonesian names. Sometimes they don't have surnames. But yeah, I feel like the coach here needs to step up. More VODs, I feel like, for the side of TARINGBABI, because the mechanics are there. The HK is hitting. The EBRs are hitting. But we need to know what to do after that. Maybe a cheeky regroup towards mid. Try to predict where these teams are going to be going next after they get a man down. Or make sure that we have ourselves a position where if ever they go into our side, we can hold on and our rotation is going to be spot on the timing. I feel like that's a lot to think about for TARINGBABI. But how about our panels? What do you think about the initial sequence that TARINGBABI showed us?
Well, thank you so much for that, Ellen, as well as Sticky Frog. All I could say is like our prediction is a bit right, because it just shows how,
Seems like it.
again, when it comes to the culture shock and being able to navigate through unknown waters, or that is something that you haven't experienced yet firsthand, it will be taking some time before everything sinks in. And that is pretty evident from what we have seen here from TARINGBABI here, Bipolar.
Well, it's a warm welcome for TARINGBABI here in the Philippines, Mochi, and as well as on Masters. But
Yes.
it seems like acceptance is pretty much breathing in a calm manner. Heck, whipping out the old Arctic, giving us a show and as well as a setup that will just be overwhelming the odds coming in for TARINGBABI. But TARINGBABI did had some rounds here wherein they just depleted the players coming in for acceptance, and that is where Sneaky Frogs' thought of mechanics really play in well, because we know these are aimers nonetheless coming in for this team, because looking at their stat line, most of them 0.91, 0.92, 0.95, almost 0.96, and one player garnering more than 1.0, which means they can very much aim with these like HKs, with the M14s, with the M14 EBRs, with the snipers as well. Just concerning that we don't really see a lot of shows coming in these sniper battles, mostly a hex show. But for acceptance, well, look at this. Think with out even the AK, just to give a little bit of just camaraderie, I guess, coming into those TARINGBABI. But yeah, full control, GR side, BL side, whatever you put in, it's Ankara at the end of the day, and acceptance knows how to play.
Yeah, of course. And again, this is like the moment where this is a bit of pressure for Benjahat for something that is no longer about anchoring. It is about getting early kills from the start of the round, and this type of moments, even if that they want to be passive, they have no choice but to move away from that. And it's just very nice that we've been able to see here from acceptance that they're just feeling themselves, they're in their natural habitat, they're making the most out of what is currently happening right now, and that is them being against TARINGBABI. For TARINGBABI, again, well, it's quite of a big quite of a big gap here in terms of the 10-3. And I hope that it will be a bit more closer later on, especially that the entirety here for TARINGBABI is mostly negative KDs, which is not the best look at all.
Yeah, I mean, Makara, yes, you have 2-12, but this is far from the worst performance right now from the group stage because if you remember, Yetja guarded like 1-15 last time. So, I mean, nonetheless, right, it's pretty good for TARINGBABI. You look at Penjahat, you look at Protons, these are fraggers that are very much comfortable with what they have in their arsenal. But yeah, 3-13, a total of 13 rounds where in Acceptance took the win. Heck, 100 and as well as Silent. This is the first time that we saw a rating of 100 for two players in the entirety of the group stage. And it's just nice to see that the OG squad or the OG players coming from Acceptance are the ones that are taking that into their own team. But now, it looks like it is going to be our MVP. It's
Wow, what a
Cañares.
rating.
It's Heck. That rating, man. That is a normal day for Heck.
Yeah, and I feel like the gains is not just within stuff, but within the lobby as well. Look at the stats that we have here for Heck right now. Definitely showing that, you know what, the A game, the Acceptance game is definitely here. And again, it is just a matter of how consistent Heck would also be as time goes by, because right now this is such a great look for Acceptance as a whole. And later on, again, it is going to be the next map of I believe it will be Port, which Port is arguably one of the better maps here from TARINGBABI, and we will see what that can reach. Would it give them the W, or would it be another L, and will Team Acceptance not let them go to decider after all? So for now, we will see if TARINGBABI will answer back. That for now will be saying a bit of a goodbye, and we'll be back after a few minutes. Welcome back, ladies, gents, and everything in between. It is still the first series of our second day of our group stage, TARINGBABI versus Team Acceptance, where earlier on, Team Acceptance got a very dominating 10-3 for our first map. And I was wondering, do you think, Bipolar, that TARINGBABI can bite back in the next map of Port?
I mean, hopefully, right? Because these teams, I do like to see their Port just because the squadron of a team we have in TARINGBABI is capable of doing something of an overwhelming push when they're on the BL side, and given that Acceptance doesn't really go for like big man holes wherein there's three players on site B, site A, there's a possibility that they can easily plant them up every time for almost like 6 rounds, and if they do, that's a good start. And I mean, again, this is the thought right now, right, coming in from my end, I guess, but gone are the days that our Rosea teams are gonna be weak. Right now, are they just hurdles for Filipino teams? And if that keeps on happening, well, I feel like the hurdles are just gonna be small bumps in the road for the Filipino teams. Hopefully, that is not the case for TARINGBABI here up against Acceptance, because we saw their Ankara map wherein yes, they had the aim. Yes, they had not the best executions, but I did like the positioning coming in for the GR side, because it was safe to a point that they had easy contacts. It was just really surprising to them that, ooh, this is how fast Filipino teams are playing up against us. How do we adapt? Hopefully, they've immediately saw the problems coming into their GR side or their BL side and apply that here on Port, because if they not, well, again, I will always say this into my full extent, Heck has made Port his hometown. From the 4 years prior, he has made multiple highlights in this, from pub games to rank plays or even professional plays, right? So are they aware that Heck will be trying to use this to use this Arctic, to use this sniper to dominate once again and claim 100% rate?
Dude, yes, that is so true. And this is also gonna be quite of a challenge for TARINGBABI as well. Is how would they be able to sum up everything that just happened so far, derive observations from it, and immediately create some changes here in our next map of Port. And that is why we'll be calling on our casters for our second map and see what would happen. See you, Frog, and now how are things there?
Well, Mochi Bipolar, as much as I would like to say that Hex hometown is sport, right? Rosie teams, especially Indo teams, Sneaky, there's one map synonymous to them, and it's sport. Every single time I watch a VOD of Rosie, there's always sport, right? So who really is the hometown hero of Portman? You decide.
Yeah, who's the real Portman in this one, basically? I feel like Port is a very good map, in all honesty, for, TARINGBABI and the rest of the Roseo teams, considering how you approach the map is very, cut and dry, right? You take CA,
Yeah.
you take Z, you take Curve, you take Bodega, and maybe you get the site. That's just how skewed the GR side is on this side of the map, right? But I feel like with recent innovations, especially from the side of VP, and Vincent has gotten himself some really good plays in this map as well. I do expect that the port level, especially on the BL side, will be getting a lot more difficult to defend against. But at the same time, this is a map where, just like what Bipolar said, it could be a Heck masterpiece, right? Top A. It basically has his name on it at this point. That Heck is going to be playing that position, and yeah, I mean, it's going to be a very difficult 5-man rush on long if ever they try to do so. So I feel like we hope to see more splits from the side of TARINGBABI. Especially, I want to see them kind of try to operate mid and try to see if they can go from there, right? Maybe get a B sign play, maybe get an A sign play, get something on Curve, maybe get something from Z. But I really do want to see a more, let's just say, I wouldn't say too complex of an approach, but maybe more than one entrance or more than one position is being attacked here from the side of TB.
You know what I want to see from TARINGBABI? I want to see them parkour. I want to see them try to do a ninja play, man. Because that is something that I haven't seen yet from the Rosie teams. Yeah, you can go to CA from GR side, you can go to CA from DL side, but can you parkour? Can those legs skip, right? Can you jump out and maybe get a surprise play? Much like Gracie for yesterday on for Vid, getting the double dip and then dying to the opposition of matches. But yeah, I feel like if we want to see the Rosie teams flourish in their hometown of Port, we want to see innovation. We need to see them take innovation from the teams that play Port well. For example, matches, right? They like to go snowball, especially with Vince on the lead. If you're talking about the Fervid style, slow and steady,
Mundur lagi,
you want to
mundur.
face acceptance. You need
Dua
to
di Z
slow
ya,
down.
dua di Z.
2, 3. Gitu
Lagi Z.
Nice.
Sodzi. Patay.
Oh.
Orday, babasay ka, Rodrick. Ay, ano pa? Wala.
We take turns.
Port, guru,
Never mind,
tunggu dia.
Heck already got one.
Damn,
But
man.
he gave for
We
more.
just started, gang.
Also, one thing I noticed, Nikki, is this skill.
Oh, hold that thought though, man. There's a lot happening at the start of the round. What is going on? Acceptance wanting to dip their toes into LB and to court. In a minute and 50 still left on the clock, and McRae and Penjahat unfortunately stuck on the steel doors towards long, and Dre going for the big flank, and will get the one tap on McRae, and Penjahat will get one in return. The man who was on the sniper now is on the HK417, but just so happens that Silent has one as well. Acceptance with the first round is just pure aggression for aggression, but Acceptance getting the better side of the coin.
Heck already making sure that his nameplate is not just displayed on top A, it's also displayed on House B, man. And I was about to talk to you that the Protons and the Penjahat, they swapped roles. Penjahat was the guy that was holding Arc mid
Oh my
earlier
God.
in Ankara, but Heck still diffing no matter if it's Penjahat or Proton. So already the switch up of approaches here where Heck is playing House B is working in fruition for Acceptance. And since they are on the GR side, they are gonna
Oh,
get
Ting.
mixed well.
He's got the Nelcom. Jimby will be getting the trade in return, but Dre gonna try to drop down here from the catwalk A side. Problem is, Jimby, there's a guy right behind you, but he does spot Silent, but Heck is also right behind him. Probably heard him switch to the USB, but is gonna retreat right after Penjahat spotted. But the pillars actually helping Heck live temporarily up until that point. McRae getting Dre, so every single member on the side of Acceptance absolutely pushing out of their minds with McRae.
Ajax.
Who spotted Ajax on the top A side. There's now two opponents on the long A, and Penjahat using his teammate as a distraction. And an early round here for the side of TARINGBABI. It seems like Acceptance getting a bit too excited.
They're not the usual Acceptance that we know of, right? Usually when Heck gets a pick, they slow down. They go back to the sites. They play this one perfectly. But this time around, It's not going to be slow. It's going to be fast towards B.
Ooh, 2-tap here from Ting. And a tap as well from Silent from the behind angle, but Pentaha does get him, making sure it doesn't do too much damage, but the damage has already been done from the side of Acceptance. The defense on the B side just on point, man. Even with the AK, they're still frying.
They are still frying, and they are still trying to make sure that this map is in their spot.
Jesus
Heck,
Christ, bro.
again and again and again, he's getting picks every round. It's been 3 rounds. He got 2 kills around, technically, by the maths. But yeah, I feel like with him running rampant here, the masterclass is in fruition. Listen to how you get these reps on Heck. And very, very fit to hold this mid-angle. Elcom will try to challenge, but little does he know that Heck evacuated. Maybe if they get CA and then try to split, could be a good idea, but there's 3 members here, 1 on Bodego, 1 below CA, or on CA rather. Dre will get a kill, and hats off to AT. They got their round, and TB, they have to just reconnect and try to fight.
Ooh, Atex though spotted on that long side. Dre still will be the insurance policy for this A-take, considering that he has been staying in CA this entire time. Proton's also having his own issues with Heck. No problem. As soon as he lost that B side, I'm going to go back to bridge and shooting Jimby in the chest, or like the right side of his arm. But Dre will be spotting Protons, and yep, the only one left alive is going to be Mekrai on that long side. Steel door occupied, but surrounded now by the members of Acceptance and TARINGBABI. I feel like if they can't get any early footing in the round, they kind of just, crumble.
And they just crumble. Especially if there's no initial aggression made by the GR side, right? They don't know what to do. Like, they're waiting for something to be spoon-fed to them in terms of, like, the initial fights. But Protons might just get what he wanted. Just early here on Storby, Nado will do a bit of damage to him. Second nade does not go. And they know that someone is trying to mess with them here. Acceptance holding strong but leaves the open. Has to be marked by Silent. And TB, well, you gotta go forward, man, if you want to take space. So, redirection, they need to fight. They know they can fight, but why are they not taking it?
Yeah, difficult spot to be in all honesty, right? 2 nades already on the LB side. But TARINGBABI deciding to go for a cheeky A-take, and no one is in Catwalk A whatsoever. Dre has decided to climb down to get a better angle towards mid. But Heck, miles away from top A. Maybe he can get one player. Elcom crossing, Elcom dying. Dre's gonna get Penta hot. Top A has to be careful about this sniper presence on the spawn side. He can see the entire half of it. Acceptance slowly approaching the site, and there's not even a C4 going down because Dre and Ting is gonna prevent that from happening. 4-1 Acceptance enjoying this GR side.
Technically a perfect round, save for Dre that fell to the ground, or what's it thing? I'm not really sure, but Heck. What the heck was that? Very minimal angles, very slim angles, still getting 2 up for himself. And yeah, the masterpiece here being brought on by the AWM holder, man. The OM holder is going straight ham. Now, TARINGBABI, we need to talk about taking fights, man. You already got yourselves a free site. Why are we just converging towards the right side of top A, not going towards the left where you want to fight? That is a question mark for you guys, because if you want to take a fight, take it cleanly with util, right? You guys have a lot of util usage in the Rosie qualifiers. Where is it now? You're taking mid. However, you know that CA is marked. So now that you have your position, where do we end up? What is the objective here? If you try to fight Dre, I'm going to need the flash.
Elcom missing the flash. He did miss the flash. Here comes Silent on the mid post, trying to take advantage of the mistake. And that he did. He's gotten Elcom. Jimby will be falling as well. And a good shot here on Ajax. That could be the tide turner. TARINGBABI, first time in a while that they do have a man advantage in this situation. But what is going to be the reaction here from the side of Acceptance? More aggression here from the side of Dre. He's going to go down all the way in long, and will try to see if he can take bridge for himself. But will be staying in tower temporarily. B-side is looking likely for a push, but there is a sniper presence right here on the stairs side. Heck is standing still. Could have actually moved a bit, but Ting has gotten Protons in return. Ting, does he know that Jimby is also in this spot? I feel like Heck has counted 3. that has entered in this site. Jimby is now spotted on Godbox. Here comes the flashbang. Jimby blinded. Jimby climb up. And Jimby goes down.
Oh,
And
what he's trying to
Penjahat,
do.
he's lost in the sauce, man.
He's lost, man. I think he's trying to go back to House B. What he just can't
Stuck
clip.
in a very... Oh,
He
that's
can't
so annoying.
clip
There's
on
a
the
small...
stair.
There's a small clipping there on the
Yeah.
stairs where you get stuck on it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so annoying.
He can't jump on the stairs, man. Ah, that feels so bad. A bit
He's
of
just gonna
touch.
send it.
Wait.
Are they?
Nah, he's just chilling here. He's just waiting for blessings to come his way. TARINGBABI, you need to fight, man. It's right there in front of you, please. And they stray away. 3 members on mid though for acceptance.
Yeah. Funnily enough, that this kind of gameplay has actually been explained to me. Big shoutouts to Gerald Bice for this one, where teams, when they're not afraid to do anything, man, like this can happen. Because acceptance, they already are used to teams playing exactly like this, a bit too passive for their liking, but no longer. They are 5-man, or rather a 4-man group on the B side of the map. Ting trying to see if he can gain some space on the behind, but they do know that there is a player coming from the backside and defending this for TARINGBABI, and Ting is going to take him out. Penjahat is going to go down. Elcom will be getting drained return, but there is now pressure from House B. Good shot there from Protons, and Heck is the only one left alive.
Let's see
What
it.
can he do?
Only good for one. So good sa zone though. And I feel like, yeah, the point that you talk about, Gusnikas, you're too afraid to do anything. That's the difference from being passive. Acceptance on the BL side, they are passive, right? You already know that Heck is going to be just marking outside of store B on towards court, just waiting for someone to swing him. But for TARINGBABI, they're not converging towards court. They're not converging towards doors A. They're waiting on the BL bridge. They're not even trying to push towards mid. So that explains to me that, wait, I feel like they're pushing, but I don't want to test the waters. I don't want to throw a flash and then try to take a peek with my teammate and then try to find some information, maybe a pick, right? And that was a nice call because at the same time, right, coincidence, acceptance was right there in front of them. So going towards B, getting the read at least after using that much time, still getting the round. I feel like this scaredness or fear of losing the man advantage, it's slowly being taken away, and they're slowly turning into a PH Impact team where let's just wait for 1 minute and 20 seconds.
It is, a pretty fine strat if there is no one on the side of acceptance to kind of deny anything here. But I feel like they were a bit noisy here with the boosting on 2-box. McRae will be a known entity here since Dre did here and kind of climb up in this position. So the likeliness of a long take is now pretty high. And you can see the acceptance members kind of start to look on the A side of the map. But I would like to see if anyone from the side of TV would go through that mid side. Elcom out in the open. It's a free shot. No one has taken CA whatsoever. And Ajax just clears the entirety of the TARINGBABI push. And that will be the 6th. I'm just saying, man, pure long positioning. Someone in CA, that's a match made in disaster, man.
If you want to do that, you at least need to pressure CA first, right? TARINGBABI. Now, watch the VOD. Replay this. We're giving you notes here. And acceptance is also giving you notes because they are the ones giving you the lesson. And the lesson here is if you want to take space, you better fight. You better be willing to fight. But Heck, it's not a guy that you should be fighting like that. You need to swing him. But the gun sticking out here for McRae. He goes down. And this slow pace from TARINGBABI can go even slower due to that kill by Heck.
Yeah, Ting wanting to speed up as well ever since that first frag. Kind of opposite day for the side of acceptance. Instead of slowing down, just like what he said after the Heck's first kill, they actually tend to speed up in this one. So Jimby, right around this corner, nades are now being thrown from the bridge side. Here comes the push, but do they notice that Dre, right there, Dre, with the help on his teammate. Jimby and Elcom is now down. Heck trying to see if he can gain some kills with this AWM, and the answer is yes. And Penjahat, the only one left alive, will get silent. Is he going to double peek here for Heck for this position? Quick scope. Not going to hit, unfortunately. 7-2 acceptance. No, it is looking like a standard port map. The GR is dominating. TARINGBABI kind of stuck in their own base. And the only 2 rounds that they did get is more of a mistake here from the side of acceptance more than anything.
Yeah, exactly. more overcommittal on the aggressive style of GR side that acceptance tries to show, but we don't really see it, right? So maybe here comes the testing phase that, okay, we know that we can outmatch these guys. Let's try doing something different. Let's try expanding our tempo, right? We know we're a known team that plays slow on both GL and BR. How about we try switching up the tempo? And this is the perfect team to try it on our Rosie team. So yeah, I feel like for acceptance, getting this win early is pretty nice. Smiles on the faces of everyone here on acceptance. For the side of TARINGBABI, I'm not gonna say they look hopeless, more like challenged, right? This is what I want to see from our Rosie brothers. I want them to feel challenged. I want them to step up to the plate and try to fight convincingly because the aim is there, but the mid-rounding, the initial fear of getting that man down scenario is kind of what hinders them, right? You need to break that static approach. You need to break that fear and then just go all in. Maybe put Vincent on alone here for a day. I'm gonna teach you guys how to 4-man snowball port. Just for a day. And then maybe TARINGBABI, well, much like their English translation of the name, Boar's Tusk or Swine's Tusk, might just go ramming straight ahead with those tusks. Sharp and steady.
Yeah. And it seems like acceptance kind of enjoying their time within this series so far. All smiles. Even Heck has even gotten himself a drink all throughout this side switch. And on the other side, it's not really panic. More disappointment on the side of TARINGBABI because it kind of felt like beforehand that they went into the series thinking that, you know, acceptance, hey, this is going to be one of the lower table teams. We can definitely go neck and neck up against them. But, you know, lest you forget, man, that even though acceptance, you can kind of call them a quote-unquote lower table team, right? That's still mountains of experience behind them. You got Silent, you got Heck, you have Dre, and you also have the youth with Ting here, man. So, you know, acceptance, you know, a team that is not easily beaten and not going to be easy for TARINGBABI anytime soon.
One thing I want to know about TARINGBABI is their profiles, right? Like, how old are these guys? What generation of Indonesian CROSSFIRE players are these guys? Because I feel like that's what's lacking in their scene, right? In the Rosie team, the youths that you've said, right? The Gen Zs, right? Even veterans, 24 above. Riders, Seknet is 31, right? Okay, we're just trying things at this point.
Ting, man.
Bring out
away. Put that
bring
away,
out the Chris
bro.
Vector.
Pull out the Chris Vector. You know that's the better SMG. Shout out to Polar. But Ting will be getting Penta hot, and Ajax will be getting McRae in return. Jimby will be getting one with this HK417, but Heck is already moving on this B side. And is he going to see Elcom is on the underside of B, shoots him in the head with a USP. Jimby will be dropping down on the A side of the map, and he doesn't even know where it is planted, man. Is it A or is it B? Pick your poison here. He's lost in the sauce, and it seems like there's too much of it in this game. Acceptance fully on the site. Heck is not even trying to play cover at this point. He is playing off for action. So it's an 8-2. Acceptance. Well, it seems like the acceptance stage is already here.
He's trying to warm up them joints, man. Just flick of the wrist, good old arm action right there. I mean, he works out, man. His forearms are very, very big. But here we go.
Whoa. Seems like Ting is enjoying the MP5 so far. Headshots are aplenty for him, and it's doing absolute damage. Ting, hold on. We might have to reconsider where the MP5 lies in the tier list, but Jimby with his own S tier weapon, he's gonna get 2. But Heck with a USB hits him with the S+. 9-2 in this game. Acceptance, yeah. We're on the acceptance stage here, El.
Yeah, we're just accept it at this point, TARINGBABI. As much as you guys are, you know, a fresh look for the Rosie region, acceptance, they might be fresh on the master stage, but the tenure, the veterancy on this squad is being shown. Is one man alone can do it. Heck, what more can the 4 do, right? If you put that on top of it. So, formality's sake, they're trying their good old acceptance default where they just chill outside store B, outside or near LA, and just chilling towards mid. But once the clock is the appropriate time here. Sneaky. Acceptance will try to lurk up, and they will realize that no one's here. But I like the angle there from Jibby. He's watching a little cubby of a hole here. But they're fighting.
Oh, Jimby will be spotting a jumping Heck with the USB. He's been trying to play entry for his team for the past few times. Well, let's see, Protons. Ladder box will be good for him, and that's going to be the second one in this round. And it seems like the off angles are across the board here for the side of TARINGBABI. And Ting, the only one left alive, actually goes back to the MP5. It would be madness if he can clutch with this weapon specifically, right? It would be the first MP5 clutch in CFSC Masters, maybe in CFS history. But here comes the spray. McRae's gonna go down. Takes a lot of damage though. He's 15 HP. So I am not so sure what the type of situation that he can get himself into, because when you have an SMG, if you don't insta-give your enemy, never mind. Ting. There we go. That's acceptance, man.
Okay. I have realized the situation I have put myself in. Let's just go the next round. I like that. That
Anyone's
takes
gonna kill me, it's me.
I ain't giving you the chance. No way, but Elcom is being given the chance to run away, and they're rushing towards B.
Oh, they're dugging into the B side. Ting has gotten his first one with the MP5.
Yo,
and look at him, he's turned around. How is he so immortal? It felt like he had 1,000 armor in that one. Silent and Heck will be getting their kills, but Karai and Protons, the last two left alive, and here comes the spray from the USB of Dre, and he will get the map win. Acceptance with a clean 2-0, and it seems like the state of Rosea, granted slightly better, but the gap, just like what we said, is still quite evident.
Yeah, the gap is still quite evident. Unlike the gap up top, Sneaky, which we will get into later. But yeah, Acceptance 2-0. And finally, good looking. They lost 1-2 yesterday against CBF. Acceptance winning right now against TB is very, very nice to see from my Impact boys. I'm pretty sure some of the other casters are pretty happy that Impact is getting some impact here on the master stage. But man, if there is anyone to point for this Acceptance victory, it has to be Heck, because of course those big guns, not no AWM, are what led them to victory. He just strong-armed them, Sneaky, into giving this map. And truly, Port is going to be in the Philippines, because this is the map pick of TARINGBABI, but this is Heck's hometown.
Yeah, I want to go back to the point that I said earlier before we were rudely cut by the MP5 of Ting here, that I did have that conversation with Gerald, J-Bice from Sunday Shrooms, formerly now, Trapstar Esports. I think we were watching a tournament in Los Zetas, and it was Alliance, if I'm not mistaken. It was Alliance versus Vengeance at the time. It was Alliance's old roster. And Vengeance, where they were still rocking, of course, the classic IGL. But I feel like there was some time where Vengeance were kind of just in their own minds, and they just stopped moving in its entirety. And I kind of pointed that out. I was like, yeah, that's not going to work, man, because if you're not going to make active plays around the map, it's not going to work whatsoever. You could play passive, just like what you said, El. Playing passive is 100% right, but if you play passive without a game plan, man, that is just... you're just giving the enemy the win at this point. But, TARINGBABI, with a bit more proactivity, with a bit more knowledge when it comes to the maps itself, I feel like they can definitely do some damage in the group stage. And, that slight improvement could catch some teams off guard.
Exactly. But let's point about what they need to really improve on, right, Sneaky? TARINGBABI on Ankara, they got the initial kills. They know when to fight. But when it comes to the third or the fourth move, right, the mid-rounding, that's where we see the lackluster performance, right? Even the simple util execution, like the flash getting in the face of your friend, not supposed to happen here in the master stage, right? On Port, I feel like it's the lack of moves altogether, right? I mean, like, they just throw the dice, and then whatever it lands on, that's where we go. Yes, there were some reads based on Acceptance being aggressive, because they were too passive without even thinking of a move. But those were just mistakes. Those were just overcommittals by Acceptance, with them not even also taking a move of aggression, just holding every single map control they can, and then just, making sure that this TARINGBABI squad is getting chokeholded at the start of the rounds. But yeah, I feel like we've talked enough about TARINGBABI. Acceptance, congrats on the win. Mochi, Bipolar, what's your take on this Acceptance win? Because our Impact winners, or runners-up, already got their first win here.
Yes, and it came in pretty quick here. Like, imagine losing yesterday and now they're already a win. And a 2-0 sweep, to say the least, bipolar. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, again, I feel like for TARINGBABI, it's just information overload that, oh, okay, so this is how they play. Now what? So there's like a lot of things that they have to be thinking through, we'll be adjusting, and I do believe that we'll be seeing more about that as time goes by. But for now, they gotta chill and reflect with everything that happened so far.
Yeah, I mean, looking at it, no, Mochi, this matchup really did we had a lot of hopes, nonetheless, coming in towards TARINGBABI and as well as acceptance coming in from the impact stage wherein they finished first runner up and then they qualified into Masters. This is their goal, and this might just be the very good start, right? You see players going 100%, playing very confident with the MP5, with HKs, with the signature AWM coming in for Hex. So this is like acceptance on their limelight. And this is where they really much prosper. But TARINGBABI, I would like to say they did play pretty well. Again, standard GR side for TARINGBABI. You go for a 2-1-2 setup almost, wherein we also saw some big plays coming for Protons. You saw round number 12 wherein he got double kills, or at least a triple kill sometimes, I believe, with the TRG, while he was alone on the ladder side here on A side, and somehow that just enabled our last player Tink to just nade himself so that they don't get the last kill. But we can also see that there's some firepower really coming in for the side of TARINGBABI, that they are a team that has aims. All it lacks is mid-round things and as well as security in these rounds, because there's always a backline coming in for acceptance when the side that penetrates the whole defense coming in of TARINGBABI. But yeah, what can we say? It's a full performance coming in for acceptance, and they just play pretty well. And look at that, another 100 for Heck.
Wow, another 100 for the rating. And I feel like they're just too confident, They're in their natural element here for acceptance. And look at the stats that we have here so far. Other than Hack, we also have Dre and as well as Sting on that 16-4 and 14-9, which is all are not bad here for TARINGBABI, though. Props to Jimby, because 14-12 is pretty good, especially all of the pressure given all the pressure that's being exerted to them by acceptance. So it's a nice try, but again, they really need to get those noggins going. They need to get their gears going, because if not, they'll be running out of contents in their playbook. And as this League of Hours go on, it is really important that their priority is to amp up their pacing, be a bit more flexible, and thicken that playbook with all their might.
Yeah, I mean, this is a big question now, right, Mochi? Coming into your perspective, I feel like, how deep does the playbook really go for TARINGBABI? Yes, they have fixed. Yes, they have big guns. Yes, they have, again, mechanics-wise, pretty good. Can kill a lot of players coming in for the Filipino teams, and can easily, right, play a 3v3 or sometimes a 2v2. But how does that play out for the rest of the group stage? This is just their first day, and they're also just giving us only a mediocre performance. Not really that Masters level performance that we see from other teams. So yeah, this is a big question for you, TARINGBABI. How well or how deep is your playbook? Because look at acceptance right now, one of the teams that we regard a middle in the bracket. But look at Heck, one hell of a player, 4.75 the KD, and another 100% rating.
Yes, and also very prevalent usage of smokes as well, or utility, which just shows that, because of being such a hard hitter, we can also supply those types of assistance to our teammates as well, which is perfect for them. And congratulations for acceptance, and nice try for TARINGBABI. I hope that they learned a thing or two or more after
Hopefully.
all of the things that acceptance threw onto them. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to see how they actually behave in the map of Subbase, given that this is one of their stronger maps. I feel like it will be a bit more closer than the scorelines that we garnered from Ankara and Port if we were able to reach the decider. But right now, let us announce our only dude that traversed all against the odds. It's still Heck with a perfect rating of 100% here by Paul.
You might just see a lot of these kinds of MVPs, Mochi, but with Heck being the spearhead with 100% rating in all 2 maps, a 3.60 KD or 1.38 kill per round. And you can definitely see, right, it's still the same acceptance that they give towards TARINGBABI. It's Heck in House B when they were on the GR side, not really a lot of top A pushes. It's a mid play coming in for Ting and the rest of the team basically playing their own map. So it's not really a disrespect towards TARINGBABI despite them only got 6 rounds in the full series here on out. It's actually the full acceptance. They just had even more fun, but they also had that breathing space because I felt, we all felt like in those 2 rounds in the beginning of those two maps that they were in full control. Look at Heck with the AWM connecting with every shot, and not just with that, but it's also the USP. So pretty insane. Pero feeling ko Mochi pwede na tayo mag-tone down from the English.
Ito na yun. Tama na yung pagpapanggap.
Kaya naman ni Heck na kausapin tayo ng English. Testing natin mamaya. Pero iba kasi, kaya naman Heck dito na pumuntriyan ang kolong-kodo 100%.
Feeling ko kayang-kaya yun, nakakapag-flex ka ng ganito. Paano pa yung pag-i-English? Sorry lang yan. Para kay Heck maya-maya. At habang tinitignan ko ano yung mga nangyari dito, sa nakaraan natin mga mapa sa kung saan talagang nagpop-up lang naman ng malala itong si Heck, Well, my naman talaga. What a nice thing for us to see and witness. At na fulfill na ang ating mga mata, mga tenga naman ang ating fulfill ngayon dahil makakarinig tayo ng mga insights at kasagutan from our match MVP himself. Let us welcome everyone, si Heck dito sa ating desk. Hello, Heck!
Hello,
Grabe,
hello
isang
po.
isang ganun nga, isang flex nga, isang flex. Yo!
Dali!
Hello po, hello.
Congratulations first and
Thank
foremost, Heck, Kamusta naman ang feeling natin?
Feeling good.
Ha?
Okay. Going back, Mochi, I mean, congratulations, Heck,
Thank you.
Isang impressive run. Unang player ngayon sa buong CFS Masters Summer na 100% ang rating from first map up until the second. Onting serious notes lang, may tatlo actually on that. First question, how does it feel na may nakalaban na ulit tayo international team? Kasi, correct me if I'm wrong, last na international matchup, specifically ni Heck, from Pacific War days pa, was 2018. Anong pagkakaiba ngayon? Ano yung parang sitwasyon ngayon na kalaban yung international team?
Parang feel
Dirinig.
Hello,
Hindi namin
rinig?
rinig dito.
Hello, eto po, hello, rinig?
Yan. Lapit mo lang.
Okay. Parang normal lang yung yung laro namin, tas focus lang sa laro talaga. Hindi namin iniisip na international player sila. Pero binibigyan pa rin namin ng respect as a opponent. Yes po.
Mochi.
Yo, very nice. And I feel like Heck worthy din na siguro itanong ko na rin, saan yung point na talagang nakita yung parang nasa flow state na kayo? Kasi parang medyo nangangapa pa itong si TARINGBABI, I feel like maano naman natin yun totally.
Ulit po.
Asan yung point na nakita nyong nasa flow state na kayo?
Pag gumanap po yung mga yung mga kampi ko, tas yun lang naman. Pag nagkakaunawaan kami ba? Yun
So
lang.
pagka merong isang nag-online, tuloy-tuloy na.
Yes.
Dire-diretso na.
Yeah.
Okay, heck, meron pa akong at least 2 questions if
Okay.
given the time. No? Pero first question ko ngayon, sila na ang taring, hindi na kita i-question ng English heck, no? Para
Yes,
dire-diretso lang tayo, no? Na bahala ng taring Bobby mag-translate. Pero heck, ano yung parang nakita mo? Nakita kasi natin, round number 12, naka-double kill pa nga sa loob. Almost triple kill dun si Protons, yung enemy sniper mo dito sa Taring Bobby, para matigil, para mag-execute pa nga ng sarili dito si Ting sa pinakadulo, di ba grenada niya yung sarili niya? What happened there? Ano sa tingin mo parang naging madali ba yung sniper match natin dito? Nakakita ka ba ng parang good plays mula sa enemy sniper?
Ano lang, inunahan ko lang sa sa mga pwestuhan yung kalaban ko. Kasi alam ko naman parang advantage pag may sniper, tas nakauna ka sa pwesto. So, yun lang, tumatama naman. So, I'm happy.
Yes, happy sila lahat. Yun, nakaka-proud din dito, no, bipolar. So, I guess, again, congratulations sa well-deserved niya yan. Grabe, no? I think it's about time. Heck, no, the floor is yours. Pwede mo lang i-shoutout mo. Gusto mo i-shoutout, pasalamatan lahat ng gusto yung pasalamatan. Yes.
Okay. Shoutout pala sa manager ko sa work, tas si Ma'am Gemma sa Dice Resort, and then sa mga kampi ko. Thank you. And sa family and fans. So, asawa pala din. Yung asawa ko. Thank you. Yun lang. Si Adrian, Adrian lang. Hindi ko naman yung pangalan. Adrian.
Yan. Basta si Adrian.
Basta si Adrian. Grabe si Adrian. Grabe. Thank you so much, Heck. And good luck sa mga susunod niyong mga laban. Very strong start para sa Team Acceptance.
Thank you.
Brother, good luck.
Solid bipolar, no? And I really like kung ano ang estado nila dito ngayon, no? And yun nga lang, unfortunately, I couldn't say the same for TARINGBABI, no? I think they need a bit more time para makapag fit in dito, no? Sa current na lineup natin ngayon.
Very much amazing, no? Itong yung kambal kong si Kapwa Kurt, si Kapwa Heck na magaling, no? Siguro sana madapuan lang din ako ng ng AWM. May kita nyo lang sa mga postings natin.
Wow.
Pero, yeah, amazing performance pala sa Acceptance. I feel like we never saw a flaw. Yes, they gave some rounds, pero what can you do? That's the life of CROSSFIRE, right? You don't expect 100% rating with a 10%, with a 100% rating pagdating sa mga round wins. So, nonetheless, still amazing mula sa Team Acceptance.
Amazing indeed. And I really like how nangyari din yung performance dito nila Drino. Talagang pinapakita na nila from time and time again, no? If ever someone falls off automatically, merong someone else na magsa-step up naman dito for Team Acceptance. And I think that is also the strength that they are currently recurring right now, no? Recurring theme natin right now from them. So, I guess maya-maya aabangan natin dyan ang laban ng Veteran versus STS maya-maya, and I feel like this is also gonna be pretty interesting. Nagtapat na naman sila dito, and yan ang ating aabangan after namin magbalik in a few minutes.